Hi everybody, this is Alchemist2 and I'm back again with another movie review. I noticed that originally when I had done my review for Gravity, it didn't really go that well, but I wanted to tell you that when I actually went to see this film, that I absolutely loved it, every single solitary scene of it. And my reason being is because it reminded me of a live action version of Planets. Um, there are a lot of similarities between that anime series and this film, but I actually think that the anime series is much more accurate, much more factually based. I still thought a lot of the scenery in the movie itself was very engrossing and suspense-inducing. Although a lot of the scenes of the spacewalks were, well, to me, very calming, because when I was a little girl, I always wanted to be an astronaut, and it brought back to mind the nostalgia of the time when I was just a little thing, and Mom and Dad took me to Houston to go see my aunt and uncle when they used to live there. They live in Chapel Hill, North Carolina now, but I got to see Mission Control, and they had a film about basically the training that the astronauts go through, because I wanted to be an astronaut. Even if I never get a chance to be an astronaut, this film actually struck off on my bucket list that dream that I've had ever since I was a small child. And I have to say that this movie elicited a lot of different emotions in me, and there were some times that I actually cried. I won't say why, but you've got two main characters. You've got Ryan, who's played by Sandra Bullock, whom I absolutely adore, and George Clooney. I also love him. He played Matt Kowalski. Mike Kowalski. I'm thinking that's Monsters Inc. Dang it! But anyway, Matt Kowalski, and they were going out into space to uh, doctor the Hubble telescope. They were out with a guy who was East Indian, who graduated from Harvard. Um, a lot of what happens in this film is very harrowing, and is very epic, and everything in it is just absolutely beautiful. And I think this is one of those films that you should see in 3D, although I didn't have the chance to, but it gives you that same kind of sense, even if you don't see it in 3D. The POV that they have from Ryan's helmet, I thought was really cool and just really impressive. I have to give it 2 thumbs up, 5 stars, hands down. Actually, not really 5, but I actually give it 3.5, because there were a couple things that kind of I thought were a nag. My first nag is the fact that it should have been called zero gravity rather than just gravity, because there really is no gravity in space. Actually, they're being pulled upon by the force of gravity when they're in orbit, and I'm not going to go into that, of course, because a lot of us know about the physics that occur within outer space itself. The second little quibble I have is the fact that when Sandra takes her helmet off, it should be out in all directions, and it's not. It's perfectly coiffed, looking ever so chic, and I thought, no, this does not happen in outer space. This this is Hollywood. So that was the only thing that I thought was kind of ridiculous. But other than that, I thought it was very accurately done. My dad had a question for me. I'm not going to say what preceded this question, but I think I answered it well for him. I'm just going to say the vacuum of space can cause some rather disgusting things to occur. Let me just put it that way. I think this movie is probably one of the best sci-fi films I've seen in a long time. It's more fact and science than fiction. But as far as factual based stuff is concerned, I would definitely recommend Planets, just because I think Planets is just absolutely stellar. It is really a phenomenal series, and even if you don't like anime, if you like astronauts, if you like the idea of spacewalks, are just, floating in space, and what the idea of being pulled on, uh, just being pulled upon by Earth's gravity would be like. This gives you that feeling, and so does planets. But planets, it goes into decompression syndrome, which is a lot like PTSD, only for astronauts. And what happens with decompression syndrome is when they return to Earth, they're readjusting to everything, and they develop mania at times. And one of the astronauts actually has decompression syndrome, and it's really scary. And you think, oh my God, that's just horrible. It's just one of the most frightening things that you can think of, uh, other than panic attacks, which for me would be the closest thing that I could relate it to, since I have them. I don't have them that often, thank God. Um, I'm not really sure what else to say about Gravity other than I really loved it. And of course, I'm sorry if I gave you the wrong grading system for my star system. Is I give it three and a half, actually 3.5, almost 4. I almost gave it 4, but there were just a couple of things that I thought were just ridiculous, and it's just, Hollywood, because it's just the way they are, and sometimes they get things wrong. Quite often they get some things wrong, and they really didn't take away from the entertainment value of the film itself. It really truly is a marvel of CGI, and really incredible plot, but there really isn't a whole lot of dialogue, so it's more about what you experience in space and all that. So I absolutely loved it. If you enjoy things such as outer space, and just the idea of being in outer space, then I think this would be right up your alley, and it truly deserves every acclimate that it has received, I think. It's basically all I have to say about Gravity, so if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. Shalom, and ciao!